Your home isn't too small, it's too full. Walk into almost any Scandinavian home and you'll feel it before you can explain it. The room seems to exhale. There's light and air and space, and a kind of quiet that has nothing to do with noise. And your first instinct is to assume it's because the house is bigger, or newer, or more expensive than yours. It usually isn't. Scandinavian homes are often small, winters are long, apartments are compact. The calm you feel doesn't come from what they have, it comes from what they refuse to keep. Think about the last time you tried to sort out a messy room. If you're like most people, you went out and bought something to hold the mess. A set of bins, a new shelf, a drawer organizer, a basket for the corner, and for a week it looked better. Then it filled up again because the things were all still there. You'd only given them a nicer place to sit. That's the trap. Storage doesn't reduce clutter, it just hides it and quietly invites more. Because here's the thing most people get exactly backwards. You've been trying to fix a cluttered home by adding more storage boxes, more shelves, more clever organizers. Scandinavians fix it by subtracting. There's a Swedish idea that runs through all of this. Lagom, meaning just enough, and not one thing more. And it means the goal was never a tidier way to store your excess. The goal is to not own the excess in the first place. So today I'm going to walk you through your own home, room by room, and show you 15 things Scandinavians simply don't keep. Things that are probably within a few feet of you right now, quietly weighing the place down. And I want you to actually look around as we go because a lot of these are going to be hiding in plain sight. 2 I'll flag before we start. Number 8 is something you're using right now to make your home nicer that a Scandinavian believes does the exact opposite. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And number 14 is the one thing most people are quietly proud to own, that a Scandinavian finds almost embarrassing. Stay for both. All of this comes from that one idea, lagom, and I put the whole philosophy into a short book called Lagom, linked below if you want it, but you don't need it to start. And stay to the end, because I'll give you the 2-minute Scandinavian reset, the single easiest way to make any room feel Nordic tonight. Let's begin at your front door. Number 1. Shoes worn through the house. Start at your entryway. In most homes, this is where chaos lives. A heap of shoes, bags dropped on the floor, coats that miss the hook. And crucially, in a lot of homes, the shoes just keep walking, right through the living room and down the hall. In Scandinavia, that simply does not happen. Shoes come off at the door, every time. No exceptions, not even for a quick dash inside. It's not only about the dirt, though that's real. Every day, the street brings in gravel, salt, rain, whatever's been walked through. And stopping it at the threshold means the floors stay clean with a fraction of the effort. It's about drawing a hard line between the outside world and your home. When you step out of your shoes at the door, you physically leave the day behind. That's a large part of why a Scandinavian home feels calmer the instant you walk in. The outside, in every sense, doesn't come with you. The shift. Take your shoes off at the door and give them a home there. Let the entryway be the line where the outside world stops. Number 2 is right above your head, and it might be the single most Scandinavian change you can make. Number 2, harsh overhead lighting. Look up. If your room is lit by one big bright light in the middle of the ceiling, blazing down on everything equally, you've just found something no Scandinavian would tolerate. In the Nordic countries, that flat overhead glare is almost an offense. Instead, they light a room with many small, warm, low sources, table lamps, floor lamps, candles, a soft glow in the corners. There's a deep reason, and it's tied to survival as much as taste. Winters up here are long and dark, so light becomes precious and personal. A single harsh ceiling light makes a room feel like an office or a waiting room. Cold, exposing, tiring. Many small warm lights create pools of coziness, shadow, and depth. This is a huge part of Hygge, that Danish sense of warmth and comfort. And there's a practical bonus. Warm, dim light in the evening works with your body instead of against it, helping you wind down towards sleep rather than jolting you awake. If you do only one thing from this entire video, try this one tonight, because it costs nothing and the effect is immediate. Switch off the ceiling light. Turn on 2 or 3 lamps in different corners of the room, ideally with warm bulbs rather than cold white ones. Light a candle if you have one. Then just sit in it for a moment. You'll feel the room soften around you. It stops feeling like a space you're passing through and starts feeling like a place you want to stay. That transformation from harsh and flat to warm and layered is the single most Scandinavian thing you can do to a room, and it takes about 30 seconds. The shift: turn off the big overhead light and light your room with several small warm lamps instead. It's the fastest way to make any room feel Nordic. Number 3 is cluttering every flat surface you own. Number 3, trinkets on every surface. Scan your shelves, your windowsills, your mantle. If every surface is covered in little decorative objects, figurines, souvenirs, things bought because they were cute in the moment, you're looking at something Scandinavian homes deliberately avoid. Nordic style isn't about filling space with pretty things. It's about leaving space empty on purpose. The principle is that empty surface is not wasted. It's the whole point. When a shelf holds one beautiful object instead of 20, that one thing can actually be seen, and the eye gets somewhere to rest. A room crowded with knickknacks gives your eye nowhere to land. It has to process dozens of little things every time you walk in, and that low-level visual work is quietly tiring, even if you never notice it consciously. There's a bit of the law of Jante in it too, the Nordic discomfort with showing off, but mostly it's about calm, fewer things, better chosen, with room to breathe around them. The shift: clear your surfaces down to a few things you genuinely love, and let the empty space stay empty. The space is the decoration. Number 4 is probably the biggest object in your living room, and Scandinavians would never build the room around it. Number 4, the television as the centerpiece. Look at your living room. In most homes, every chair points at one thing: a large television, mounted like an altar, the entire room arranged in worship of it. In many Scandinavian homes, the living room is built around something else entirely: a window with light, a coffee table set for conversation, a spot for a warm drink, and a good talk. The TV is there, often, but it isn't the center of gravity. The reason is that the Scandinavian living room is designed for connection and comfort, not consumption. It's built around fika, the ritual of pausing together over coffee, and around hygge, the warmth of being cozy with the people you're with. When you arrange a whole room to face a screen, you quietly tell everyone the point of the room is to watch, not to be together. Turn the chairs slightly toward each other in the light, and the room changes character completely. The shift: stop building your living room around a screen. Arrange it around light, warmth, and the people in it, and let the TV be a guest, not the host. Number 5 is on your windows, and it's stealing something Scandinavians treat as treasure. Number 5, heavy curtains that block the light. Check your windows. Thick, heavy drapes that keep a room dim, even at midday. A Scandinavian would find that almost painful. In the Nordic countries, where daylight is scarce for months at a time, natural light is treated as something close to sacred, and nothing is allowed to block it. Windows are often left bare, or dressed only in sheer fabric that lets the light pour through. This isn't just aesthetics, it's well-being. Daylight lifts your mood, sharpens your focus, and sets your body's clock so you sleep better at night. In the long Nordic winters, people arrange their whole homes to catch every possible ray, keeping windowsills clear and glass unobstructed. Compare that to a room kept gloomy behind heavy curtains all day, and you can feel the difference in your own body. The shift: pull back the heavy curtains and let the daylight flood in. Keep your windows and sills clear. Light is the one thing you can never have too much of. That's your living space. Now step into the kitchen, because number 6 is sitting on your counter right now. Number 6, a cluttered kitchen counter. Look at your countertops. In most homes, they're a landing strip. Appliances you use twice a year, mail, gadgets, the blender that's lived out since 2019. In a Scandinavian kitchen, the counter is mostly clear. Bare wood or stone, a board, maybe one thing in daily use. Everything else lives behind a door. The thinking is pure lagom applied to the busiest room in the house. A clear counter isn't just nicer to look at, it's the room actually working. You have space to cook. You wipe it down in seconds. And that famous Scandinavian kitchen calm you've seen in photos was never about expensive design. It's about the counter being empty. Every appliance left out is something you have to see, clean around, and mentally step over all day long. Put the ones you rarely use away, and give away the ones you never use at all. A simple test: if an appliance hasn't earned its spot by being used at least weekly, It doesn't get to live on the counter. The toaster and the kettle can stay if you use them daily. The bread maker, the juicer, the fondue set from a Christmas long ago, into a cupboard or out of the house entirely. What's left is a surface you can actually cook on, wipe down in seconds, and look at without a flicker of stress. The shift. Clear your counters down to what you use every day. An empty counter isn't bare. It's a kitchen that finally has room to breathe. Number 7 is in the cupboard right next to it, and it's a tangled mess in almost every home. Number 7. Mismatched plastic containers. Open the cupboard where you keep your food containers. If it's an avalanche of mismatched plastic tubs and lids that never seem to pair up, you found something Scandinavian kitchens quietly avoid. Nordic homes tend toward fewer containers, matched and stackable, often in glass, wood, or ceramic instead of a jumble of old takeaway tubs. Part of it is the natural materials instinct. Scandinavians lean toward glass and wood over plastic for the look, the longevity, and, increasingly, the environment. But part of it is just legum again. You don't need 30 containers. You need a modest set that matches and stacks. So the cupboard closes and the search for a lid ritual disappears from your life. The daily friction of that chaotic cupboard is small, but you pay it every single day. The shift, pare your containers down to one matched, stacking set. Glass if you can. Let the mismatched plastic avalanche go for good. And now, number 8. The one I promised. Something you're using right now to make your home nicer, that a Scandinavian believes does the opposite. Number 8. Artificial air fresheners. Go find the plug-in air freshener, the scented spray, the synthetic candle promising linen breeze. Scandinavians largely don't use these, and they'd tell you that masking your home's air with synthetic fragrance is solving the wrong problem, because the Nordic answer to a stuffy home isn't to cover the smell, it's to replace the air. There's a daily habit in Sweden called vedra, and in Norway and Denmark too. You open the windows wide, even in the depth of winter, even for just 10 minutes, and let cold, fresh air sweep completely through the home. It clears out stale air, moisture, and staleness, and leaves the place genuinely fresh rather than perfumed over the top of stale. There's a practical health side too. Airing a home out reduces the damp and stuffiness that build up indoors, especially in the colder months, when windows tend to stay shut for weeks. Scandinavians do it without a second thought. Bundle up if you must, throw the windows open, and let the house take a breath. A home full of synthetic fragrance is, to a Scandinavian, a home that hasn't been aired. Real freshness comes through the window, not from a bottle. The shift, bin the plugins and sprays, and open your windows wide for 10 minutes instead. Yes, even in winter, fresh air beats fake air every time. Number 9 is hanging in your bedroom, and there's far too much of it. Number 9, the overstuffed wardrobe. Open your closet. If it's crammed so full that things fall out, that you can't see what you own, that half of it hasn't been worn in a year. That's the opposite of the Scandinavian approach. Nordic style is famous for the capsule wardrobe. Fewer clothes, better made, and simple colors that all work together, so getting dressed is effortless, and everything you own actually gets worn. The logic is legum and quality over quantity. A closet stuffed with cheap, rarely worn clothes isn't wealth. It's a daily obstacle course and a low hum of guilt every morning. A smaller wardrobe of well-made pieces you genuinely love means less decision fatigue, less waste, and, oddly, always having something to wear. You stop dressing a fantasy version of yourself with 50 options and start dressing your real life with the 20 things that actually fit it. The shift, thin your wardrobe down to what you actually wear and love. Fewer better clothes you'll reach for beat a full closet you dread opening. Number 10 is on the floor of the room where your kids play, if you have them. Number 10. Mountains of plastic toys. If there are children in your home, look at their toys. In many homes, it's a tidal wave of plastic. Light up, noise-making, single-purpose toys that break and multiply. Nordic parenting leans the other way. Fewer toys, often simple wooden ones, open-ended things a child can play with 100 different ways. The reason isn't just taste. Research and long Nordic experience point the same direction. Children with fewer, simpler toys tend to play more deeply, focus longer, and use more imagination, because they're not overwhelmed by choice and flashing lights. A room buried in plastic overstimulates a child and exhausts a parent, and most of it isn't even played with. Fewer, better toys make for a calmer room, and genuinely, a calmer child. The shift cut the toy mountain down to a smaller set of simple, open-ended favorites. Fewer toys, deeper play, quieter home. Number 11. The junk drawer. Every home seems to have it. The one drawer stuffed with dead batteries, tangled cables, takeaway menus, keys to nothing, and a decade of small, undecided things. Scandinavian homes resist letting any drawer become that graveyard because they know what it really is, a place where decisions go to be avoided. Every object in that drawer is there because, at some point, you didn't want to decide what to do with it, so you shoved it in. For now. And, for now, quietly became forever. The Nordic instinct is to decide small things immediately, so they never accumulate into a drawer you dread. Half of what's in there goes to the bin, a few things find a real home, and the drawer becomes usable again. The shift: empty the junk drawer and decide each thing once. Keep, home, or bin. Stop storing your postponed decisions in a drawer. Number 12 is furniture, and Scandinavians would rather own less of it than own it cheap. Number 12. Cheap, disposable furniture. Look at your furniture with one question. Was it built to last or built to be replaced? A lot of modern homes are filled with flimsy, disposable pieces, bought cheap and thrown out in a few years. Scandinavians tend to go the other way. Fewer pieces but solid, well-made, often natural wood, meant to last decades and even be handed down. This is Hygge meeting a deep Nordic dislike of waste. It's not about spending more, it's about buying once. One good, solid table you keep for 30 years costs less in the end than 5 wobbly ones you replace, and it makes a home feel grounded and calm, rather than temporary. A room full of things meant to be thrown away always feels a little disposable itself. The shift: stop buying furniture you'll replace in 3 years. Own fewer, better pieces built to last, and let the wobbly disposable stuff go. Number 13 is an entire room you might be wasting. Number 13. Rooms kept for show. Is there a room in your home nobody really uses? The formal sitting room saved for guests who never come, the dining room used twice a year, the space kept perfect and lifeless? Scandinavians, working with small homes, find that idea almost absurd. Every room is meant to be lived in. The principle is that your home should serve the life you actually live, not perform for imaginary visitors. A room kept for good is a room you've given away to nobody. Nordic homes are used, all of them, every day. Comfortable, functional, real. Reclaim that unused room for something your actual life needs. A reading corner, a workspace, a place to just be. A home isn't a showroom, it's where you live. The shift: stop keeping a room for show. Turn it into something your real life uses today. Every room should be lived in. And now, number 14, the one I promised, the thing most people are quietly proud to own, that a Scandinavian finds almost embarrassing. Number 14, loud status symbols. Look for the thing in your home whose main job is to signal that you could afford it. The prominent logo, the flashy purchase, displayed to impress. Scandinavians tend to keep these out. And the reason has a name: janteloven, the law of jante, a deep cultural discomfort with showing off or acting like you're better than anyone else. In much of the world, a visible status symbol is a small trophy. In Scandinavia, it reads the opposite way: a slightly awkward, a bit try-hard. The Nordic version of luxury is quiet, quality you can feel but that doesn't shout, comfort over display. And there's a freedom hidden in that, because the moment you stop buying things to impress other people, an enormous and expensive source of clutter simply disappears from your home. Most status purchases weren't answering a need. They were answering a fear of what others think. The shift: let go of the things whose only job is to impress. Quiet quality beats loud status, and it costs you far less to live without the performance. Which brings us to the last one. Number 15. The things Scandinavians never keep that all the others were really about. Number 15. The feeling of too much. Everything on this list, the trinkets, the plastic, the overstuffed closet, the status symbols, adds up to one single thing Scandinavians refuse to keep in their homes: the feeling of too much. That low, constant background hum of excess, of more than you can see or use or manage, that presses on you in a crowded home, even when you can't name it. Think about how it actually feels to walk into a crowded room versus an open one. In the crowded room, some part of you tenses. Even if you smile, there's too much to take in, too much you'd have to deal with. In the open room, your shoulders drop. You can think a clear thought. That difference isn't in your imagination. A cluttered space genuinely keeps your mind a little busy and a little on edge, all day, in the background. Scandinavians simply refuse to live in that low-grade tension when the cure is free. Because here's the secret underneath all of it. Empty space is not something Scandinavians tolerate because they can't afford to fill it. Empty space is the luxury. The clear surface, the bare wall, the room that isn't full. That space is where light lives, where your eye rests, where you can finally breathe and think. That is what lagom means at its heart. Not deprivation, not cold minimalism for its own sake, but the deep relief of just enough, and not one thing more to manage. A Scandinavian home feels calm because it left room for you in it. The shift: stop filling every space you have. Keep the empty room, the clear surface, the quiet. The space is the whole point. And if that idea lands somewhere in your chest, the wish for a home with room to breathe in it, that's exactly why I wrote Lagom. It's a short book, fittingly, about how to own less without losing anything that matters, and how to build a home that holds your life instead of burying it. It's linked at the top of the description. And if you've watched this far, it was written for you. Now, as promised, here's the 2-minute Scandinavian reset, the fastest way to make any room feel Nordic tonight. It's 2 tiny actions. First, pick one visible surface, a coffee table, a countertop, a shelf, and clear it completely, down to nothing or one thing you love, just one surface. Then, open a window wide for 10 minutes and let cold, fresh air sweep all the way through the room. That's it. One clear surface, one lungful of fresh air. In 2 minutes, you'll feel the whole room change. Lighter, calmer, more alive. And that feeling is the seed of everything else. Most people who do it once find the calm quietly spreads to the next surface, and the next, on its own. And I'd love to know, which of these 15 are you looking at in your home right now? Tell me the number in the comments. You'll find a strange comfort in seeing how many people are staring at the exact same thing you are. And if this made your home feel a little lighter just imagining it, share it with one person whose home has been feeling a bit too full lately. Sometimes a gentler way of living is all someone needs to see. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.